Hi, and welcome back, everybody, to Waadaplaya Concussion Sub Series. We concluded the one day international white ball tournament, and I think this is the end of England series for India. What a finish! What a finish! Rishabh Pant, as usual, giving the goosebumps, and hopefully Ashwin's television was switched on because this one day international was worth it. Sanjay, welcome back. Hopefully, you're recovering from that sea disease. How are you feeling right now?
I'm much better now. Obviously, things are very normal in the UK, and most people are treating COVID as flu, etc. That's what I have felt, a bit lethargic, etc. But well on my way to recovery. And what a game we had for Sunday.
Great to hear that you're recovering well. Before we go to the one day international, let's talk about the finals day yesterday, Vitality Blast. So in UK, typically the playoffs and the finals typically happen in the same day, which is two semi-finals and the finals. And if people have watched the finals, Hampshire versus Lancashire, wow, what a game! I literally got a super over, but again, a last ball finish. So why don't you summarize for our viewers how the Vitality Blast finals day goes?
So first of all, for people to understand, so Vitality Blast is their designated T20 tournament, which has a North and South group, etc. And in the previous years, it's run along for 2, 3, 4 months sometimes, starting in somewhere in May. And the finals day is always um, the two semi-finals and the final played back to back at Edgbaston, and it's generally at the end of the summer after all the test matches are done. But because they wanted to create uh, a view, a window for the 100. So this year, what they've done is, and they've got a lot of criticism because the ticket sales have relatively gone down, the pre-COVID levels compared to that. So this year they have had it in just before even the school holidays have started. But what a phenomenal game day it was, because what happens generally is one way or the other, people have a great time because Edgbaston, good weather, half of the people at the end of the day, if the tickets are distributed in to 4 counties, half of the people do not have a team to support to, so most people are drunk and having a fantastic time. And what a great game to support that. You should obviously check out for the clip of Simon Dool doing the commentary, and it reminded me of what Ian Smith had done in the famous 2019 World Cup final. So if you haven't done it, then definitely do catch it. Back to our ODI. We have lot of people viewing this, so thank you so much. Do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so.
Yeah, they probably are tuning in because I'm wearing an England jersey like Ben Stokes. But guess what? So let's talk about the one day international. So the decider, again, all eyes were on Virat Kohli and also Rahul Dravid to see how the white ball tournament at Manchester will end versus England. So England batted first, 259 is what they put on board. Again, I felt they're 40 above the par score or 40 above what they started because we were holding them in tight control. But again, the lower order of England scored really well. And then India came out to bat. They were, I think, 75 for 4. And then, boy, a 100-run partnership between Rishabh Pant and Hardik Pandya, which we'll talk about. But 259 on board. Jason Roy finally back in form. And then 60, but with Jos Buttler captain. So, Sanjay, what do you think of England batting on decider compared to the first match?
Um, Compared to the second T20, a very similar score. And they were in a similar position as well with 150, 60 odd for six. Their lower order batters do contribute very well. Good day for Jason Roy. Obviously, we had Bumrah missing due to a niggle, which is a slight concern considering after IPL in the last 7, 8 weeks, he's only had one test match and a few limited overs. But Siraj coming back, in that test match, he uh, couldn't buy a wicket. Here he got Bairstow and Root in his first over. So what a phenomenal start it was for him. But eventually, I think 260, very, very decent total compared to considering they were under the pump, and India's bowling was very well, right? Hardik Pandya's bowling has been phenomenal. Very, very good signs for Indian cricket leading up to the big T20 World Cup at some point in time. So yeah, very pleased for him. While chasing, it felt that it'll go to a similar pattern of what happened in the previous game. But hey ho, Rishabh Pant finally has delivered in an ODI. It's his first 100, and it's a memorable one. He started with a memorable 100 and ends the tour with a memorable 100.
Yeah, and this is the third ODI series defeat by England at home. So they seem to be struggling. And Ajay Kemenu says Rishi Sonak and Rishabh Pant. So demystify that comment for us, Sanjay.
Rishi Sunak is obviously running running for the next prime minister of England. Obviously, he's a well-known lad in India. He's the son-in-law of famous Mr. Murthy. Rishabh Pant's day, obviously, and this is something which all of India has been waiting for. That he will start delivering in limited overs cricket. We all know how good he is in Test matches, but hopefully this form, and especially that end in the end, how he started getting David Willey for boundary after boundary, and our top order batters were struggling against the left armers. It's great signs. I'm hoping and praying that he'll start cracking the T20I version as well now.
Absolutely. And let's talk about your favorite all rounder, Hardik Pandya. 4 for 24 in 7 overs. You should be very pleased with his bowlings. Three maidens. And then a magnificent partnership with Rishabh Pant put India back on course. So, how does this make you feel? I think you always had that question mark of Hardik Pandya in the team. So, what do you think now? How is he settling in?
If Pandya starts bowling regularly, and this is as regular as we've seen him for a while. He did have a break in the IPL from his bowling, but his batting has come of age very, very responsibly played during the IPL. And today's, I think he almost took the initiative whilst Pant was settling in, trying to take his time. He was going over an 100 runs strike rate, and he did really well. That 4 wickets, if anything, and to back that with the 50, he's definitely the player of the match easily. I think as long as he keeps bowling, India's chances in any global tournament will improve significantly. If he cannot bowl, I think that's where we'll have all our problems. So I think he is probably the most critical player for our chances in any global tournament at this point.
And guess what? News is coming in. Rishabh Pant is the player of the match, but icing on the cake, Hardik Pandya is player of the series. So reactions to that?
Yeah, I mean yeah, the way Rishabh Pant ended the game, yeah, it was box office, and he finished the game. Obviously, with our long tail, another wicket there could have resulted in those 4 wickets being on a losing side, like he had in the previous game. So yeah, why not? I mean, it's a 3-match series. I'm sure both of them won't mind one having the player of the match and the other the player of the series.
Excellent. And Hardik Pandya post match says, white ball is something very close to me. I cherish my white ball game. We all know England are such a good team. For us, it was important to check ourselves with our plans, and the World Cup ahead was an ideal chance for us to step up and show what we have got. That is excellent. And it's so pleasing to see top order again is not helping our cause. Now, let's talk about. We can't stay away from this topic. We have to continue talking about it, unfortunately. The wait continues. Let's not take the name of the player, but the wait continues. So he's going to get a break during West Indies series. So do we see anything changing after West Indies series from a selection point of view, not performance? Selection point of view?
I would like to say that he's been dropped. He's not been rested. This is how I see it. As we discussed in the previous post match as well. These days in Indian cricket, no one gets dropped. Everyone gets rested, irrespective of whether they want it or not, they need it or not, or they require it or not. So, but he will come back. Whether he comes back immediately before the World T20, or you could have Deepak Huda having the series of his life. Score after score, and then it makes it difficult for anyone coming back into the team. But I would think he'll still get another go during the Asia Cup with Pakistan around, and hopefully more batting friendly conditions. Yeah, I mean, even the most ardent fan of Virat Kohli, they are finding it tough to keep defending him. Every time he comes in, has three or four really lovely looking boundaries, and then the entire Twitter has a meltdown. They all start jinxing him, and that's the reason why he's not getting those runs, guys. Just ignore that he's playing. Just think it's someone else who's playing. Stop it, and then he'll get the runs. But yeah, I think the wait will be longer, because for the next few weeks India will be in England, next few days rather, and then we'll have to all wait for Asia Cup. So the debate will continue, the 71st or whatever. That wait will continue. So yeah, see, I desperately want to see him get back into form. We all want to, because he brings so much to the game. So it would be disappointing if he doesn't get another goal.
This too shall pass, like they say across the border. But Babar Azam, can we have a word about him? How outstanding is he? I always thought that he is probably good at playing only in Pakistan and Dubai, but now he's starting to score runs overseas. Last night with Sri Lanka, magnificent century again.
He's there. He'll end up becoming their best batter ever, I think. But again, we've seen in our time how we've thought that Virat Kohli by now would have got 100 hundreds if he had been his usual self. 10 hundreds in a year is nothing for him. So I mean, hopefully Babar Azam will continue, and I'm hoping that at some point in time, Virat Kohli and Babar Azam are able to face each other in a test match. As cricket lovers, Virat Kohli will probably end his career without having one test match against Pakistan, which would be a shame. So
Yeah.
all the support and love from us. We all love to see great cricketers from across the border. So why not? Yeah.
There are two stats which you will enjoy, our trivia. There are three wicket keepers of India who scored a one-day international ton overseas. KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant, and Rahul Dravid. There are
Yeah.
two wicket keepers who scored one-day international ton in England, which is Rahul Dravid and Rishabh Pant. So again, the stats continue to come up. I think your argument about Pant edging towards the arguably the best wicketkeeper India has ever seen is becoming stronger and stronger.
No, yeah. Every time I say something, it's like the form dips. So yeah, look, more than the records and stats, I think the way he's played, especially in Test matches, this is his best ODI innings by far. He's had a lot of chances where he could have, become that guy who wins us a famous game, be it that semi-final against New Zealand. Both Hardik Pandya and Rishabh at the crease, slog sweep, getting out to spinner. Hardik Pandya has had a lot of chances as well, similar positions in the past. So at least Rishabh Pant knows now, this can be done. This is how it's done, and so refreshing to see India chase something over 250 with our top three not firing at all. So I'm very hopeful, and praying that in the future we'll see the best of Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant, like we had Raina, Dhoni, and Yuvraj winning us so many games chasing. We need two or three players to regularly put their hands up.
Yeah, and MSD fans are understandably are throwing up some reaction at the back of our Rishabh Pant conversation, which is expected. Another good question from Ajay Kemenu. Once KL Rahul is back, which I think he's going to be back near future. So do you think he's fitting into the 11 straight up, or do you think he'll have to prove it?
As much as I hate to say it, I think Shikhar Dhawan will make way in the current ODI team. That's how I see it. India did toy with the idea of KL Rahul playing in the middle order, which was partly successful. Then he went back to the top of the order in the World Cup because Shikhar Dhawan was injured. Shikhar Dhawan always does well in the ODI format, but unfortunately, this series hasn't been very kind for him. So left-hander at the top is I think required. considering so many left arm paces would know that India's top order doesn't like left arm pace.
Yeah.
So feel bad for him, but I don't know whether it's the end of the road. He might still get another game. Yes.
Excellent. And the post-match presentation, Jos Buttler continues to mention that they were short of runs, and also they gave a chance to Rishab Pant. They missed a stumping chance, and we see youngster from England join our podcast, which is fantastic to see. It is encouraging. So Josh Butler feels that it's not a concern going into the World Cup or white ball form. What do you think England needs to do from here on?
I I think one thing they need to do is just have the all the players available for the international game. I think their whole scheduling might be a bit of a question mark in the middle of a premier, if you want to call the Vitality Blast a premier tournament for them, having the international series right in the middle of it. I think England won't be too concerned. Because the fact is that they are still the world champions. The World Cup is still over a year away. Yes, darling. Can I finish? Yes. Okay. No, just excuse me. I need a cup. Okay. Okay. So I think they won't be worried too much about it at this point. But if they start failing in the T20s, I think that's where the real concern will come in short term. And the World Cup is in India. They've got enough time to keep experimenting until then, and then find their best 11 going into the next year.
Yeah, and Sanjay Dubey driving inspiration from Hardik Pandya doing all round duties, that duty, podcast, supporting cricket. Fantastic to see that, Dubey. Great stuff. So, from India point of view, so they switch to West Indies next with a white ball tournament. And again, Shikhar Dhawan is going to be the captain. So it'll be interesting to see how West Indies tour will shape up. Word on Rahul Dravid before we drop. So England series has been interesting. Lost the Test match, but single-handedly cleaned up the one-day internationals and T20. So what on Rahul Dravid, is he settling in with all these changes coming in?
Yeah, I think Rahul and Rohit seem to be getting um, at least to some sort of winning form in the ODIs and T20s. Every time, at least Rohit is there. Hopefully, he won't have to keep on dealing with more and more captains. I think we have to sort of somehow limit it to 2 and 3 at max, not have every new series a new captain. So I think that'll help have some continuity and allow us to build a team and a core group. And I am hoping that the team management, whoever the captain is, along with Rahul Dravid, they at least now give some consistency in team selection for T20s. Like we know, we are disappointed with some of the team selections in terms of dropping out Sanju Samson, etc. But if you've decided these are the players, let's just back them, give them a decent run, and see where we go from them from there. Overall, I think Rahul Dravid would still be disappointed. This could have been a clean sweep because, I mean, to you and me, we all know the most important game of the tour was that Test match because we haven't won in England for a while. Well, it's still a draw. It gave us some very very entertaining cricket, something memorable over the summer. So yeah, can't complain. I'm sure the entire Indian fan base would want an ICC trophy and nothing else if Rahul Dravid has to leave a legacy. So what Ravi Shastri couldn't do, hopefully Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma would be able to.
Absolutely, it was a pretty good series to watch, and unfortunate that we lost the Test match. But credit to England, they played really well. We will see. Excellent, Sanjay. Thanks for making time. Hopefully, you fully recover soon. And folks who have joined us, it is really really pleasing for us to see that support which we are starting to get. Please do drop that like button at the bottom and also tell your family and friends to subscribe to us and put in that comment. Tell us what do you think about us and if we need to do anything else to continue to entertain you. Thanks for watching, and Sanjay, we will see you later during the West Indies tour, hopefully.
Thanks, Suman. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.